All right, well, hello, good afternoon, welcome. Happy to see you all today. So like I said last week, we were pitched in West Africa for the past several weeks, and now we're gonna go into the Southeast Asian part of the world. And so last week I told you India, but I changed my mind. So today we're going to Thailand. Okay. But we're gonna make a little pit stop in Italy first, and then get there. Okay, just a little quick hop because I had a request from Leon to do a soup. So I'm doing actually two soups today, and I'm doing two soups today because my husband informed me that you all might think the other soup is a smoothie, and it's not. It's a soup. So just in case you think so, I have a traditional soup. So we're going to start off. We're going to do a copycat recipe from Olive Garden, the Zuppa Toscana. I haven't had it in years, so that's why I'm going to say it's inspired by, because I don't remember what it tastes like. Okay. It's inspired by, without the bacon bits and stuff in it. And so we'll do that. That'll be our more indulgent soup, even though it's still low in calories. Hey, come on, welcome. And then we're going to do a raw soup. And so raw, when you think of raw foodists or raw vegans or just eating raw foods, most people think of just eating salads and fruit and cut up like a vegetable tray and stuff all day. And it's so not that. Raw is anything 118 degrees Fahrenheit or less. Okay, so that's considered raw. So that's why a lot of times if you see a raw foods or go to a raw restaurant, they'll use like a dehydrator to make certain things. And the reason why, once it goes over 118 degrees Fahrenheit, that's when the degradation of the minerals and the enzymes start to go away. Especially certain things like a vitamin C that's very heat resistant, not heat sensitive. Yes, not heat resistant. So that's why we do that. So raw. So the soup, we're going to do it all in this blender. It's a dump and go, and then when you just let it blend, if you have a high-speed blender, it gets warm, but it won't go over 118 degrees. It gets like 105, so it's still warm to eat. So you still feel like you're eating a soup. It's not a smoothie. Okay, so that's my disclaimer. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna start with the Zuppa Toscana soup, and then while that has to like meld those 30 minutes, we'll do the raw soup, and then we'll serve both soups back to back, so you all can have an experience of a traditional type of soup and a good soup. Like I would say, this would be your staple soup. This would be more of your indulgent soup, and we'll talk through it. Anybody go on the website and check out today's recipes? Yes. Okay, so y'all can keep me honest. Okay, so I do have it printed, but sometimes I still mess up. Okay. So the reason why I'm calling this one more of an indulgent recipe is because I'm using a mock meat, which I usually stay away from. But just to give it more of that copycat feeling, because when Olive Garden does it, they use hot Italian sausage. So we're using a plant-based version of that. So Zuppa Toscana, what does that mean? Hey, Leon. What does it mean? I know no one here speaks Italian, but any idea what it means? Zuppa soup, yep. What's Toscana?
Isn't the region
Tuscan soup, that's all it means. So when we say Zuppa Toscana soup, we're saying it both ways, in English and in Italian. So it's just Zuppa Toscana, so Tuscan soup, that's all it means. So originally not the Olive Garden version that is famous, but originally it was made with zucchini, celery, carrots, beans, and kale and potatoes. That's the original Zuppa Toscana if you go to Italy. So not the Olive Garden stuff. The Italians are very offended by Olive Garden, actually. So, yeah, true story. My previous job, I used to travel there a lot. And yeah, they were just like, Olive Garden, what is that? Just like my Mexican friends would always be upset with Taco Bell when they would come. They're like, what? That is not Mexican food. So, huh?
That's an Americanized Italian.
Extremely Americanized, yep. Okay, so I've had this preheating for a little bit, so we're not starting from zero, because this thing, Let's be nice to it today. All right, so got my tray of ingredients. What does it say to do first? We're going to talk through these ingredients. Okay. So I have, this is the mock meat that I'm using today. Could we do this with the nut meat? Yeah, but this is an indulgent recipe. So we could do the walnut meat, we could do the sunflower seed meat, you could do TVP, but to make it taste more like sausage, I just said, that's why we're having the healthy version. So just gonna put these in here, we're gonna brown these up while we wait for this to get all the way hot. And they claim that these are hot Italian sausages, but I don't taste any heat at all, like zero. No, like we'll get one side by side of the non-hot. I don't taste the difference personally. I'm like, this a marketing thing? I don't know. So, maybe so. I don't taste it. So supposedly those are hot sausages. I think it should definitely be tolerable for you all. All right, so get this turned up. And there's already oil in this, so I don't want to add unnecessary oil. You all know how I like to use oil with intention. So, okay, I'm starting to smell it now. So it's starting to get warmed up. What does it say for me to do next?
Add the butter to the pot. And slowly mixing flour.
Okay, so when you add equal parts fat and flour, what is that called?
Roux.
Yeah, look at y'all, okay. So we're gonna make a quick roux. And when you don't let it cook that long and it's still like a light color, what kind of roux is that?
Blonde.
Yep. We're gonna make a quick little blonde roux. And the purpose of a roux is for what? Y'all on the money. See, y'all cook better than me then. Y'all know what y'all doing. Can y'all smell that?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I haven't had, and this is bad on my part because I get hyper focused. Haven't had a single thing to eat or drink today, which is terrible. I am quite hungry, and I'm sure very dehydrated. So we're going to change that very soon. I'm looking forward to remedying that. I ain't going to pass it. I have tons of energy, but it's not good. I know when I'm supposed to eat and all that, and then I just get like all the way zoomed in. Okay, so we have butter. Now, what kind of flour would you think I would recommend for us to use? So, no. So, but I understand where y'all are going with that. So, using like an almond flour or coconut flour, because of why we're using it as a thickening agent, it will thicken, but it will add too much flavor.
Oh, okay.
So we wouldn't want to use like a nut or seed flour. And an arrowroot starch or tapioca starch or corn flour is pure starch. It will be too thick. It will be the wrong consistency for a roux. So we wouldn't do that. So y'all went deep. I wasn't even going deep yet. So I was really trying to get at, I would not use a white flour. Right? Why not? Why don't you see me using white rice, white flour, white sugar?
No nutritional value.
Correct. It's been bleached, it's processed. There's no nutrition. So if you're going to eat something a little less healthy, you don't have to take it all the way there, especially when you're not sacrificing flavor or texture. So I want to eat the whole thing the way it was intended. So in this case, I just picked something. I was like, what's the smallest bag of flour I have in my house? And it was organic sprouted spelt flour. So I'll use that. If I had picked up wheat, I would have used wheat. I mean, it doesn't matter. It just wouldn't be white. In this particular instance, it has the texture be a little bit different. You can use it. It just wouldn't be. And I'm talking from a culinary school perspective. It wouldn't be. You can use it. Let me just say that you can. You can. And I would definitely say because of the chickpea flour, you would definitely have to make sure it's cooked, because if not, it comes through very bitter if it's not cooked. Yep. Okay, that's kind of looking good to me. Can y'all see me? Are they camera? Okay. Sometimes they move the camera, so I can't tell what y'all can see. Huh? This one you're seeing that over here? Okay. Okay. All right, so that's looking pretty good. So I'm gonna move this to the side instead of taking it out the pot. And we're gonna do our little roux. So I believe it was what, 2 tablespoons of flour?
Yeah, 2 tablespoons.
And 2 tablespoons of butter?
2 tablespoons.
Okay. So I gotta do a little bit more for you all. I'm feeding more people than that recipe says, so. All right. So I'm using organic, non-dairy butter. I'm gonna turn this down because I don't want the butter to burn. Okay. All right. So because I'm not using a white flour, when we were just talking about making a blonde roux, it's going to obviously be darker because I'm using a whole grain flour. So if I cook this into a brown roux, like if you're using white flour, this will get very, very dark. Can you all see this roux being formed here? Okay. So I'm just going to let this chill just for like maybe 30 more seconds because we don't want to taste raw flour. All right. What's next, y'all? Okay. Okay. All right. You said add onion? All right. So what do we know? Who remembers our discussion about fennel and what it does for the body? Ooh, I did not mean to do that. Anybody recall?
No, but I like the way it smells.
Does smell pretty awesome. Okay. So fennel seeds themselves are antibacterial. They're anti-inflammatory. They're a natural natural appetite suppressant. When you go to Indian restaurants, has anybody been to an Indian restaurant before?
Yeah.
And you typically see either when you're entering the restaurant or on your table a little bowl full of seeds. You've seen that? Fennel seeds are part of that mixture. That mixture is called mukwas, and it's to help fight bad breath and to aid your digestion. So, and that's why fennel and cardamom pods are always in that mukwas that you'll see at an Indian restaurant. Y'all see how this kind of thickened up? The other thing about fennel, it's good for menopause. It helps with hot flashes. It helps with vaginal itching or dryness. If you eat fennel, and particularly the seeds, it helps you with your desire and overall sexual satisfaction. It also helps women who are breastfeeding produce more milk. It increases the prolactin levels in the body. Okay, that's coming together. It does a lot. It is powerful. I mean, food is medicine. But again, if you take 2-3 little seeds, is it going to do that much? You got to consume it, okay? So, after a meal, before a meal, just pop some in your mouth, chew on it, have fennel tea, and eat the fennel. The fronds, the bulb, roasted fennel is so delicious, or raw fennel in a salad is so refreshing and light and crispy, and it's really, really, really good. Yeah. All right, what's next? So I added in the onions.
Did you add the oregano?
Nope.
Black pepper?
Nope. How much fennel and oregano am I adding?
Oregano is 1 teaspoon. Fennel is 1.5 teaspoons.
That was me being conscious of y'all because I don't usually do that small amount. Okay. I'm going to do a little bit more. You still got to follow your instincts in the kitchen. Okay. And then the fennel seeds. I'm also adding the fennel seeds because when you're eating like sausage from a pig, when they make it, they always add fennel seed. That's what gives it that flavor. But I eat it because of the health benefits I just kind of laid out to you. All right, so we add the fennel and the oregano. What else? Red pepper flakes. I'm sure I put something small, like a quarter teaspoon or something like that for y'all. What did I say? Okay, yeah, because I need it for that recipe too. All right. I didn't bring the black pepper because I knew I was going to add more of this. I didn't want any complaints about heat. Okay. That was probably barely half a teaspoon. But we'll go with that. What else? What's next?
Soften 5 to 7 minutes, and then add the garlic and cook for 30 seconds.
Add some garlic. You can handle that. Yep, the onions are in there. They like super glue this thing on here. Yeah. Thank you. Okay. Well, while I'm doing this, I have some questions for y'all. So I don't really do a lot of potatoes so much because as you saw last week, I prefer like pounded yam, all that kind of thing. But if I do eat a potato, I prefer the Yukon Gold potatoes over the russet potatoes. Any particular reason you think I might prefer that? They are less starchy. You do not have to peel these, that's correct.
But you know, they're hard to find now because we tried to find them. Oh, you did?
Harris Cedar seems to always keep them in stock, yeah. Yeah, Yukon Golds have risen in popularity, and that's why they've become more expensive because people seem to like them better because they're naturally kind of buttery. They're a waxy potato and not a starchy potato. And in terms of nutrition, it has nutrition, but compared to russet, it's a battle. So let me see, I kind of talked through, I wrote a little table so I don't have to remember everything. Okay, so a russet potato, one medium-sized potato is 290 calories, which still really is pretty good. But one Yukon Gold is 200 calories. So there's that little bit of a difference there. In a russet potato, and I'm talking about same size potato, it's 8 grams of protein, and then a Yukon Gold is 5 grams of protein. Okay? So, I mean, that's still a lot of protein for a potato. I mean, so it's pretty good. Potassium, still a lot of potassium in potatoes, but in a russet potato, there's 1,700 milligrams potassium versus 1,200 milligrams potassium in Yukon Gold. You're probably starting to think like, well, dang, Yukon Gold is just not as nutritionally dense. And in a lot of ways, that's true. But in a couple ways, it's not. What's good and what's excellent for your daily value of something?
19% above.
20% or above is
19 and under, 20 and above.
right. But 10 to 19, because less than 10 is fair, so good is 10 to 19, and anything above 20% of the daily value, which remember is baseline keeping you alive, okay? All right, we'll keep that in mind. But it's still something. It's still not something to balk at. So calcium, the russet has 5% of your daily calcium needs or requirements, and the Yukon Gold has 2%. The big difference, your russet has 18% of your iron, which is pretty good. It's almost excellent. But the Yukon Gold has 8%. almost good. So one's almost excellent, one's almost good. Copper. Russet has 16% of your daily copper, but the Yukon Gold shines and has 39% of your copper needs. Magnesium. The Russet has 22% magnesium, and the Yukon Gold has 15% magnesium. The other thing is B6. B6. Anyone know what B6 is? Pyridoxine. Okay, so if you didn't know the name of B6, do you know what B6 does? Like in big terms, you don't have to know the nitty gritty because we'll talk about that. Because you know you need your B vitamins. Your B vitamins are what kind of vitamins? We've been talking about this almost every week. What kind of vitamins are B vitamins? Water soluble. And that means what? Huh? It goes through you, meaning what? You're very, 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 very close. Huh? No, meaning that you pee it out every day, so you have to replenish them every day. Whereas your fat soluble stores up in your body, right? So, ooh, excuse me. Sorry, guys. So you see this color here? This is an antioxidant. So the Yukon Gold is, it's not genetically modified. It was created in the 60s. So it's the crossbreed between the russet potato and a native Peruvian potato that is a yellow potato. And so when it crossed, it gives it this golden color. Anytime, let me not say anytime because somebody might come back and try to fact it. 99% of the time when you do some type of crossbreeding, when it's not native to the planet, it's going to have like less nutrients. Something's going to be compensated because it was created, right? And something created is not bad because a bee could decide to go and pollinate a different flower and produce something new, right? So it's not that it's bad. What you don't want is them doing it in a lab and injecting stuff, right? It's different because you do that when you grow apples. Hey, Les, I didn't see you come in. When you grow apples or avocado, that's how you get the like a Haas avocado. It's because they're doing that. Otherwise, you would get every avocado would be completely different species. So that's a whole other science. So don't think of that as bad. Just be aware. Okay. Yeah, and so these are 60% less starchy than russets. So this is something to keep in mind. You don't have to peel them, as you all already said. What else am I supposed to be doing next while I'm talking to y'all? I'm going to go ahead and kind of chop up these potatoes.
Slowly pouring water and milk.
Okay. All right. Has anyone had Yukon Gold before? Because I've been realizing that it's not as common for folks to eat it. When I make mashed potatoes, I switch to using Yukon Gold. I mean, it's just so buttery. It takes a lot less seasoning and everything, and it's just great. You heard that? Okay. All right. Did it say go ahead and add the potatoes in?
It said add the bouillon. It said add water, milk, add the bouillon, and stir it. Then add the potato.
Okay. I'll go ahead and add them. Yeah. You know, the recipe's for guidance. It's not the law. Okay. So if you all see how I'm doing this, so anytime you have something round, you don't want to cut something round. You want to make sure you have it flat so that when you go through and make even cuts that it doesn't roll around and you injure yourself. So just slicing it in half and then making sticks and then making cuts. And it makes it about the same size. And why is the same size important, especially in a soup? There we go. Y'all on the money today. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. We're almost there. What else can I quiz y'all on? Let's see. Okay. Tell me what you learned about fennel seeds that you didn't know.
They help with bad breath.
Yes. Yes. And that's very true. So like most, if you look on the market for tea that women drink to help boost their milk production, it usually has fennel in it and fenugreek. Those are two ingredients you'll see that increase the prolactin in the bodies naturally without it, doing something really wonky. Yep, that's great. What did you learn about Yukon Gold that you didn't know?
You don't have to feel 60% less starch.
Yes, 60% less starch.
It's a crossbreed between two potatoes.
Yep.
And I used to kind of say that things that were hybridized were not necessarily good for you to eat. And I'm just saying, that's
Yeah.
what I used to think. And Dr.
Almost-
used to say,
Yeah,
no for carrots. And then, so what you just
because
said
the
about-
carrots were created in the lab. It wasn't naturally done. Yeah, it wasn't naturally done. That's what he's more talking about. But there are a lot of things like kale's hybrid. I mean, there are a lot of things we eat that are healthy that are hybridized, but it was done through natural selection versus someone saying, I want to see this and this together. And hey, someone saying that doesn't make it bad either. I don't want them injecting other species' DNA into my food. Okay, I don't want the fish DNA in my tomatoes.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
I think that's reasonable for me.
Okay.
Speaking of that, we can talk about that just a hair and get on that little soapbox real quick. I always tell you all about buying organic. And the best way to tell that it's organic is because the PLU number will usually start with a 9 and be 5 digits. And so the ones that start with like a 3 or an 8 means genetically modified. But did you know that conventionally grown produce can be genetically modified? And that is because the PLU codes that we use in the United States are not mandated. It's just PLU, do y'all know what that stands for? Price lookup. It's a price lookup code, okay? So it's not mandatory. So something that is genetically modified can begin with a 4, be 4092, and be genetically modified, but can still appear to be conventionally grown, but it's genetically modified. But organic is, until they decide to muddle with that, you can't do that. So all the more reason to buy organic, because you might be buying GMO, especially if it's super cheap and just looking all, yeah, they'll make it very pretty and really cheap. And yeah. Okay, what's next? Okay, so because this is a soup, I tell you, we always drink spring water. We drive to Concord. When I say we, he drives to Concord. And all in our house, we have glass pitchers, and it comes from the natural spring there, and it's free. And it's full of all the minerals naturally occurring. So we prefer that, and we drink it out of glass, the glass one. So this is that water. Because it's a soup, I figure we need to have proper water instead of me getting it out of this Eastway faucet. Not shaming that, because I'll probably have to use it for something else. But since it's a soup, I just wanted us to come correct. Okay, so that's 4 cups of water there. And then how much milk? A cup. Okay. What's the name of that church, baby?
It's a Methodist church in Concord. They discovered a natural spring there about 5 years ago. It's open to the public 24/7.
It is. It's just a little thing in the ground.
Yeah, but Jack, you know how crazy people are. What are you at?
It's behind a church, and they.
It's like 5 in the morning, 4 in the morning, nothing else.
Yeah. So what's next?
Just a pump?
No, it's just one. Yeah, you walk down into the cistern. Underground. You walk out and back down.
Okay.
Near the, if you know the Concord.
You gotta speak louder so they can hear.
Oh, the Concord Convention. It's the convention.
Cabarrus County.
Cabarrus County Convention Center.
Okay.
It's on 49. If you go right past there, there's a BP gas station on the corner across the street from the convention center. You make it right up that street, and it's the big church, the first church you come to on the right-hand side. And you just drive around back. There will be no signs. You have to drive around the back of the church, and then you'll see like a picnic area, and then you'll see a sign for the water. But there'll probably be people there anyway.
It tastes amazing. Like, it tastes amazing. So,
And the name of that township is Clearwater.
That's true.
Or cold water. It's cold water.
Okay, so I'm gonna let this come to a boil, and we're gonna let this cook so the potatoes can cook. And once the potatoes are pretty much cooked, then we'll add the greens because we want our greens to still be green. Okay, not brown. It doesn't really have an exact address for it though. Oh, the church does, yeah. Okay. So we're good. I don't know if y'all can smell that, but that's smelling really good to me. I am quite hungry. I'm quite hungry. Okay, so while that's doing this thing, we're gonna do this raw soup. It is not a smoothie, it is a soup. Okay? That's why he had me. He said, nah, you need to do the other one just because they might think y'all are with me. He was trying to be against me today. Okay. All right. And you can customize this however you like. Thank you. Thank you. You said what?
I said good looking out because some of us think soup is only supposed to be hot.
It is going to be hot.
No, it's going to be lukewarm.
So let's talk about that.
It's going to be bathwater warm.
Let's talk about that. Because we talk about this almost every week. What temperature should we eat our food? Are we supposed to eat our food?
118 or below. Room temperature. Oh, 118.
Why?
So your body can digest. It's the best for digestion, right?
Yes.
Otherwise your body has to like overwork or if it's too cold or too hot to digest.
Correct. So our core body temperature stays at what temperature? Well, they say that it changes for women because we have periods and all that. So it's based on the man. But in general, the human species is 98.7, right? So for our digestive system to work, it has to do it at 98.7. So if you're eating ice cream, it's got to use the energy in your body to warm up the ice cream to 98.7. If you're eating something hot, it's got to use energy to cool it down to 98.7. And this is aids to why you can become tired after you eat. If you're having to blow on your food before you put it in your mouth, it's too hot, okay? It should be warming. And you're just used to it, that's all. But this actually is, I can't say it's hot because it doesn't burn your tongue, but it's warm. It's not, to me, let me say that, to me. Maybe, I don't know. Y'all, I know y'all will be honest with me and tell me your opinion because when you go without something for so long, you forget. So, to me, it's hot. So maybe I'm tripping. Okay. So, who's looking at the directions for the soup?
Add your orange.
Mm-hmm.
Put your tomatoes, your cherry tomatoes.
And that's supposed to be a half cup, right? Now, I know that because I have very small hands. When I grab something, that's a half cup. That's how I know that. So you can do that for your hand. So when I'm feeding my dogs, I know how much is how much is in my hand, how much is in there. These are running out a little bit. All right. And what else?
14 ounces diced tomatoes canned.
Okay, so we have some organic diced tomatoes here.
Is this a blender tomato soup?
Yes, ma'am. I didn't want to call it raw and have y'all be like, I ain't trying that when I get home. Okay. I had to think through that one. Okay.
Half a cup of sun-dried tomatoes.
Okay. So y'all's call. Do y'all want to use regular sun-dried tomatoes or you want to use smoked sun-dried tomatoes?
Both.
Okay, y'all my people. So, depends on the grocery store, but the sun-dried tomatoes in oil are never beside, for whatever reason, the sun-dried tomatoes that are not in the oil. They're not in the same section, even though you would think they should be. If you're in Publix and at Harris Teeter, this is where this brand is always there. Like I've never gone, they didn't have them, and also Whole Foods, they're always on the bottom shelf. Whereas the one in oil is more at eye level. And this is in the produce section usually, not on the aisle. Yeah, and it's on the bottom shelf. So like, you know how they have an end cap, like they'll have like the display of like cantaloupe or whatever, but on the front it's like you'll see like the garlic bulbs, the elephant garlic. At the bottom you'll see these. Why they put it there, I don't know. I don't know. Now that oil is delicious, but it's just use it with intention and sparingly. I said what, a half cup? I think I'm just do half the bag. Cause I just love the flavor of it. Okay. All right. What else? Uh-huh. Okay. So I already had organic baby carrots, so I said, well, this will work just fine. I'll put a few of those in. I think about 6 will equal 1 medium carrot. Okay. They said to do one more. I'm gonna do one more. All right. What's next?
1/4 cup of scallions.
Okay. I did some cheating and bought this stuff already pre-chopped because my tower garden is end of life, and I didn't have this, not end of life like that, but I have to restart the growing season, so didn't have any. All right, so we got the green onion,
2 garlic cloves.
2 cloves of garlic, and what else? And so why do you think we're adding the cashews in? Make it thick or creamy? The standard answer is always yes, but I didn't. You need a high-speed blender, yes. These are raw organic cashews. This adds the creamy, so if you instead of using a heavy cream, like if you're making like a tomato bisque and they add that heavy cream, this is what that is. All right, and what else? Okay, yeah. And so miso is fermented, in this case, soybean paste or chickpea paste. And why is this so good? We've talked about this many times, but not in a while. It's for umami, correct. But why do people who are on low sodium diets, I tell them you can always replace, instead of using, it says you can't use salt and you want to have flavor, use miso paste or dulse flakes, because since this is fermented, this does not have the same impact on the body. This does not increase your blood pressure. It does not have the issue like sodium with potassium does with table salt. You do not have the issue with miso paste, and you get enough of that saltiness without having the effect of salt in your body and, you know, affecting your fluids, your fluid balance in your body, because that's what potassium regulates. Well, one of the things it does. I said 1 tablespoon, right?
Yes.
Okay.
And you use the because I think the powdered miso.
Now, I have never seen powdered miso. So I'm going to say, I'm sure you can. I just don't know how to tell you to use it because I don't have any experience with that. Okay, what else?
Add a teaspoon of red pepper, please.
Yeah.
Oh.
He said what?
Make it double.
I would do more, but everybody's got to be able to eat it. What else?
2 tablespoons of basil leaves.
Okay, that's going to come later.
3 tablespoons.
I'm going to add half of that in right now and then taste it. Because I had to augment this because I'm making it for more people. All right. What else? All right. Okay, so I'm going to blend this, so it might be a little bit loud. And then once you start to see steam, because it actually gets hot, then I'm going to add in these basil leaves and blend it up a little bit more, and then we're going to serve it. It'll be our first soup. So if you brought your own utensils and bowls and whatnot, please have it ready. If not, I have them up here. So where's the lid? Okay.
Is that pot supposed to be steaming like that?
Yep, boiling. Go, and then I'm going to turn it down. All right, here we go. Y'all see the steam coming out? Okay, now that we've got some steam, I'm going to add in some basil leaves. I had to add in a little bit more water because I put in more cashews. Can you put some more water in here one more time, babe? Then we'll adjust for seasoning, and then that's it. We're gonna serve. All right. It's not lukewarm. Okay. It's hot. You see it, right? Okay. All right, so I'm just gonna taste for seasoning and then we will serve. Yeah, check to see if the potatoes are cooked. That's pretty damn good. Yeah, it's a little bit longer, we're almost there. That works. Yeah. I'm gonna add the kale in. I'm gonna take this off and then I'm gonna add the kale in it and I'll be done. All right, who's ready for their non-lukewarm soup? Now, I might have added, I would probably add in a little bit more miso paste for my palate, but. Huh? You think? I know, I was gonna taste it. I mean, it's good. Yeah, I mean, I would probably just sprinkle it a little bit on top or something like that. Okay. Yeah. All right. I'm looking forward to hearing y'all's opinion. Okay. And you can let it run for longer. I just thought it was a little loud in here. See how it turns a bright green? It's like coming back to life. A kick?
It's just a blutter.
So, is it a smoothie? No. Okay. Okay. I didn't think so either. I guess.
Let me ask you, on your China mix, do you put it on that knob that says, I think is it a soup or something? So
I don't have that version. Mine's just a 3-speed, low, medium, high. I just had it on high for most of the time.
That was good.
Okay.
Smoke taste comes through on those.
With the smoked tomatoes. Hmm? Okay. All right. I welcome feedback. Leon, your thoughts.
What's that?
What do you think about the blender soup? It's all right? Okay. But it's something quick and easy. So if you want to make a soup, but you don't feel like doing this and waiting, you can do that. Okay? So you have the option. This is pretty much done. Gonna give it. Let's see. Yeah, this is good. Okay. Need some, it's hot. Okay. Okay, here comes the Zuppa Toscana copycat, or inspired rather. Okay. Okay. See what y'all think. I would eat it by itself, but it's normally served with crusty bread. Crusty whole wheat bread. Gluten free. That's how. That's in the traditional sense, yeah. That's good. Well, bacon bits are vegan. But I don't recommend them because they're full of chemicals, but they are vegan, the bacon bits in the canister. Yeah. Great. So if you want to eat less food, if you eat a soup first, your actual main plate, you'll eat less calories overall. So that's something to consider if that's something you're trying to do. So, okay. Our next dish. So how likely are you all to make either soup? Very likely? Okay. Even though that one took longer, it's still easy. You're still putting it in a, Okay. Well, that's good. Okay. Well, I hear energy back in the room. Y'all always wake back up when y'all eat. So that's really good. So since we have departed West Africa, I could speak to West African cuisine authentically. So now that we're going to other parts of the world, you'll hear me say inspired by, unless it's a country I actually lived in, because I want to give respect to it, okay? So we're making a Thai curry today with as close to the ingredients as possible that you can find in a traditional American grocery store, okay? So that's why I'm going to say inspired by, to be respectful. So we talked in West Africa, we talked about countries that surround it, that comprise of the 14 countries that comprise of West Africa. So what are the countries surrounding Thailand? So we should kind of know these things, know where you are in the world. Cambodia, Laos, Vietnam. You on the road, Jackie? Indonesia. Because I just want to make sure when I refer to Southeast Asian cuisine, that you're not thinking just Asian countries, because it's a specific type of thing. Anything else come to mind? Y'all did great.
Thailand, did you say Thailand?
Yeah, what countries surround Thailand?
Oh, it's Cambodia.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Here,
Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay, so you all have a flavor. India is still considered Southeast Asian, even though it's technically a subcontinent. But when we are talking about Southeast Asian cuisine, Indian is included in that. Okay, so when we talked about West African cuisine, we had like the Holy Trinity, and that comprised of what? That's popcorn. Okay. Yes. So what do you think are some spices or some key ingredients that comprise of Southeast Asian? When you go to a Thai restaurant, what are the flavors that you typically see? What comes to mind? Yes, different red curries, yellow curries, green curries, yes. Ginger. Lemongrass. Chilies and peppers as a category, yep. Cinnamon, yep. Look at you. Will you read my notes? Yeah, that's absolutely correct. Yep. So cinnamon, cumin, and pepper. So those are the flavors that kind of make up that profile. So that way when you're thinking about, don't think about seasoning, think about flavor profiles, right? That will help you put a dish together very quickly that tastes really, really good. All right, so the main staple, which is very similar to West African cooking, it's the allium family. When I say the allium family, what is that? What's in that family? What is it? So onions, garlic, what else is in that family? Shallots, leeks, yep. And what's the other name? Chives. Yep. Okay, so y'all did great. So the allium family. So what's the difference between a shallot and an onion? I hear a lot of people say, oh, it's a little sweeter, it's a little milder, which is true. That is not true, Kimberly. That is not true. Okay. So the difference. So an onion grows individually. Scallions grow like garlic in clusters. So when you cut onions, it has rings. When you have these, it has cloves. So you see the cloves here? That's how they grow. So like I always say, know where your food comes from. Okay? Don't just go to the grocery store and it just magically happened. Okay? It didn't. So that's just something to keep in mind. So it'll be a pop quiz on that in 2 weeks. Okay. Okay. Let's see what else. All right. So the key ingredients. Who has the recipe out? I should get it out myself. We're making the butternut squash chickpea curry. So I understand from doing a challenge and from y'all being in this class that certain people do not like curry. And I just hope that your mind has changed after today, because there's so many different types of curry. Maybe you just don't like those other ones. Okay? But curry is delicious. All right, so what we're going to do today, and this is what I encourage you all to do because it's so simple, make your own curry paste. Can you go to the grocery store and buy it? Yeah. Does it have lots of preservatives and salt and oil in it that you don't need? Yep, it sure does. Doesn't mean it doesn't taste good. Doesn't mean it doesn't taste good. Doesn't mean that you can't use it in a pinch. But if you're trying to, level up your cooking and get more engaged and all that, making a curry paste is the simplest thing because it's a dump and go. I'm just going to use my NutriBullet. Okay, we're going to put everything in here. So what's the first thing it says?
2 shallots.
Okay. Now I have in directions that the curry paste is the shallots through what?
Tamari.
Okay. And what is tamari? Is it like a soy sauce or what's the difference with that? See the 2 cloves, like a garlic? So what now? So y'all know it's like a soy sauce. Remember I said, don't just do things and you don't know what it is, especially when you put it in your body. Your bodies are precious. They're temples, right? So I heard talking, but I couldn't make out. No. So tamari is soy sauce, but is gluten-free soy sauce. So if you have a person that is gluten sensitive or has celiac disease and they want that umami flavor, they can use tamari. The gluten's been removed. Okay? So either one. So today I ran out of tamari, so today I'm using soy sauce. Organic, of course. Okay. Organic everything. All right, so we have our shallots. What was next? And what was next? Tomato paste, okay.
Now, did you put in here how to make that curry paste?
We're doing it right now. Yep. So we have some organic tomato paste. I prefer the tube because you can reuse it, the canned stuff. I just don't like the aluminum can sitting on top of everything's wrong about that situation to me.
Never calls for that much. So it doesn't make
It's rare. Unless you're cooking for a crowd, yeah. All right. You can take it out. That would be the smart thing to do, but I don't ever go that far. I said 2 tablespoons or 3? 2 tablespoons. Okay, I'm gonna split the difference. It's a red curry that we're doing today. We can make a green and a yellow one later. All right, what's next?
1 red chili.
All right.
2 red chilies.
If you like heat,
3 red chilies.
you can keep the season, but since I'm making this recipe open to the masses, we're gonna de-seed it. All right, so I'm just gonna slice this open and remove all the interest, all the interest the dish has to offer. Okay, and I said, let me make sure y'all see me do it, so you don't think, okay, I'm trying to slip something on you. Okay.
What kind of pepper is that?
This is a Fresno chili.
Fresno.
Yeah.
Sweet velvet.
Nope. Totally different. You can get a Thai red chili. They just sold them in the huge packs at Super G and Compare Foods, and I was like, I like my West African peppers better, so I just went to the was it Publix or Harris Teeter and just got that one chili pepper. What's next?
1 stalk of lemongrass.
Okay. Now, I'm so proud of my local food line because they have a whole organic section now. So this is some organic lemongrass from Food Line that costs 99 cents. Okay? So talk to your produce manager. They listen. And if lemongrass is my favorite essential oil, I think it's Loretta's as well. And it smells just like it. It smells amazing. But before you actually use it, it's good to either kind of beat it up, press it, or you can just slice it, just to kind of start to release those volatile oils to get the flavor. Now, alternatively, if you cannot find, now this is easy to find because it's in season right now. If you can't find it, then you can get the squeeze 2 lemongrass paste. Doesn't taste as flavorful, but it gets the point across. Okay, what's next? And again, that was organic for 99 cents.
Chunks of ginger, 2 inch.
Okay, I'm using organic ginger. I don't peel it. I have already washed it before I get here to class. What else?
Half a cup of cilantro chopped.
Okay. because my Tower Garden end of life, I had to buy cilantro. Terrible. Okay. What else?
1 teaspoon of cumin.
What else?
1 teaspoon of coriander.
Just use it. Cumin and coriander. And what's the coriander? What else?
1 lime zested.
So what's not on this recipe, and it's because it's not easy to find consistently, when we actually start cooking the curry, you should add in like 2 or 3 lime leaves. It gives it that authentic flavor. It will make the dish authentic all the way, but you can omit it if you can't find it. And like I said, Compare Foods and Super G on Independence were both sold out yesterday when we went. What was next? The lime juice zested.
1 lime zested and juiced.
And what else?
A tablespoon of bitter lime.
Okay. And then some oil. Anything else?
14 ounces of coconut milk.
Okay, that's we're just making the paste now.
Oh, okay, so that stops the sauce when you get to the tomorrow.
Yep. All right, so let me zest this up and juice it. Yeah, before you start cooking, if you're following a recipe, always read the whole recipe before you start, because sometimes you'll end up in a bind. Like, crap, I didn't realize that. So, and when you're zesting, like I keep saying, please buy organic. If not, please try to buy the one that is not glossy, because that is plastic, okay? And you're just putting those microplastics into your food. We don't want that. They do it to make it look pretty, to make you want to buy it, and they say it's food grade. And you decide on that. That's your call. So I would say if you buy it and it's the shiny kind, use it for its juice, then I wouldn't zest it. That's my personal opinion. Okay.
So what's the best way to get juice out of a lemon or lime?
Great.
Rotary. That's what else?
Get that little juice, that little hand thing.
That's another way. What else? With the fork.
There we go.
What'd you say?
With the
With the fork. And what else? We learned 4 ways last week. Y'all forgetting one. Quarter it.
that was the main way.
Yep, quarter it. Tried that over the week. It worked real well.
You get way, way, way more juice. All right, so let's make our curry paste. There we go. Okay, we got our curry paste.
What kind of life does that have?
The NutriBullet.
No, your paste once you make it. What?
Okay, if you don't want to use this whole thing of curry paste, you can put it in a glass container in the refrigerator. It'll last up to at least a week in the fridge. Beyond that, I've never tested to know. So, but I know 5 to 7 days it will last.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so what's next?
You're gonna add your curry paste to your coconut milk to the pan and put the pan on medium.
Okay, so I'm gonna pass this around. So I really like using this coconut milk. I know you all see the other brands that are very common, but I like this brand not just because it's organic, but because it has 2 ingredients: organic coconut milk and organic coconut purified water. That's it. Okay. So a lot of them you'll see like guar gum and oils added, which is like, it's already fatty, it's coconut. Why are you doing that? So, I like this.
Where did you get it from?
Hair Cedar always has this, and this native forest it's like Fresh Market, I guess the upper end stores. This is not something you're gonna see at a Food Lion unless you talk to your people there. Did not want that to happen. All right. Oops, sorry about that. Okay. That smells so good. Okay. I heard you, Jackie. All right. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna scrape that. Yeah. Now that you all have seen me make a curry paste, would you be more susceptible to doing this at home instead of buying it?
Yeah.
Who said it says a lot? He says a lot? You think just putting it in a blender is a lot? That's okay if you think that.
I'm not a cook nowadays.
But you left it a very long time in the blender, and I would be afraid to leave my blender running that long. Doesn't matter?
It wasn't that long in the blender, so you could add some liquid to let it do it. I wanted to keep it thick like a paste, but if you added just a little bit of like 2 tablespoons of water, it would have been in a few seconds. But I personally just didn't want to do that because then I have to let this boil down longer to cook the water out, but you can do that. Okay. Okay.
This way you get a better taste.
The taste is incomparable.
That's why really when people eat, we cook sometimes, you cook something, and then you go to this more cuisine type of restaurants. Well, why I cook the same thing? What makes it taste different? The ingredients, and using all natural quality ingredients. Then the quality ingredients, you have the ingredients that are flavor.
It makes all the difference in the world. That smells good. And this smells like a curry. It's really awesome. Okay. What's next? Oh, I need that.
You add the butternut squash.
All right. Where's my knife? Okay. So butternut squash, you can opt to buy the pre-cut butternut squash, and that's fine. But I know that with the pre-cut stuff, fruits, and they're not usually organic. So, yep, I'm about to show you. So, here's a butternut squash. When I got here today, 1:30 or 1:15, whatever, I just used a peeler to peel it. Now, Heather asked a question, said sometimes when she tries to peel it, it doesn't peel. As it ages, the skin on the outside gets a little thicker. And so it can start catching when you use it. You have to make sure you can't use a cheap, raggedy dollar store thing. Okay, no, and I'm like, seriously, you can't. You have to have a heavy duty kind of vegetable peeler. Otherwise, you're going to struggle. If you have a high quality one, it'll peel just fine. Now, if it's an aged squash and it's gotten kind of thick, you just go through down the side with your knife, and it'll come right off. All right, so once you do that, we're going to just take off the top. And we're going to take off the bottom. And you want to take off as little as possible because we want to actually, eat the. So, it has 2 parts. There's the bulb and there's the neck. They call it the neck. So we're going to cut just above the bulb. Have the neck. And then we have this bulb. And we're going to cut this in half. And then inside here you have the seeds. And all you gotta do is scoop out the seeds.
Right.
And you can keep the seeds and roast them and season them up. You know, make your own version of papitas. It's really good. And all we do is just slice these, and those will be ready to go. And so for this, I'm going to do the same thing because this is round. I'm going to slice this in half. And then do just like we did with our potatoes. And I'm going to make these a little smaller so that these will cook a little bit faster than those potatoes did. Now, alternatively, you could use a sweet potato, but butternut squash is a lot less starch, so a lot less carbs. Not that sweet potatoes are bad by any means, but this is a slightly healthier option from that perspective. So, you see, it's very easy to cut. We're going to go ahead and put that in there and get that swimming in the sauce. And so today, you can choose to serve this however you want. If you go to a restaurant, obviously they're going to serve it with white jasmine rice. But you know how I feel about white rice, right? So we've got the opposite of white rice. We've got wild rice today. All right, so I prepared the wild rice, nothing fancy. It was just water and a little bit of a no chicken bouillon. And that's it. And the Instant Pot right here.
Could you use your Maggi?
Definitely, but I was trying to be true to Thai flavors. But Nigeria is going to always be there. It's going to always be there. All right. So we're going to let that start playing in there, swimming around, having a good time. Yes, nice little hot tub. All right. I had some facts and stuff I wanted to talk to y'all about. What did I want to say while I'm chopping this thing up? Lemongrass. We talked about this a couple weeks ago. What is lemongrass's claim to fame? What does it do? Two things should come to mind. I'm hearing crickets. Is the sound getting sucked up in here again? Does that mean y'all don't remember? Y'all need a refresher? Okay, a refresher. Okay, we can do a refresher. All right, so lemongrass. So we want to do like when you hear or see certain things that you have some type of visual association to it, like we did like with free radicals and stuff. You don't want to just hear and say things and you don't know what you're talking about. Okay, so lemongrass, its claim to fame is a natural pain reliever and a natural fever reducer. Okay. I don't know. Well then, if she said it, it's true. Pain reliever and fever reducer. It's been used for fever reducer, for like thousands of years.
So how would you use it? Like a tea or something?
You can do it as a tea. You can chew on the stalk, but it's most commonly done as a tea. And make sure you're cooking your tea properly so you're not killing all the nutrients in it. It can't be super hot. You can't boil it for forever. It should be steeped. You let it come to a boil, put it in there, turn the heat off, and let it steep. And then you get the medicinal properties. Okay, so now we're going to just do the same thing. Just chop this up. And then if you're not confident in your knife skills, which you should strive for because it saves you time and money, you can get one of those little chopper things, and it slam it and it chops it. Okay. Yeah, I have one. I use it, So no shame. The whole point is that you're in the kitchen, you're cooking. So whatever's going to help you get in the kitchen, use it. Okay? There's no shame.
I do want to bring up about lemongrass as well. It's good for anxiety.
Absolutely.
Because it's very relaxing. So it really helps to relax you. So that's why I use it a lot. Yeah. Drinking it really helps. The essential oil is on it. And then it's good in the teas, the relaxing teas, lemongrass. Yes. And that's important because a lot of stress. It helps with stress.
That is very important. Yeah, Coretta always smells like lemongrass. It's like my favorite scent. When I make like the body butters and things, lemongrass is usually the scent I go for. Okay. Okay. What's next? What's next?
Add chickpeas with the along with the stock and water.
Add chickpeas and what now?
Stock and water.
You said stock? Oh, the bouillon. Okay. So we got a can of organic chickpeas that are already drained, rinsed and drained. And then, huh? Oh, there it is. Huh? Thank you. All right. What else?
2 cups of water.
Water. Okay. May not add the water. Let's see.
What flavor is that? Is that vegetable or just no chicken?
This one's the vegetable. I use the chicken one for the rice.
Okay. I love that vegetable.
Yeah. Okay. So these are gonna play for a little bit. Bring this up to temperature. And we're just basically letting the butternut squash cook through.
Somebody's too loud on the second row.
Huh? Okay. Let's see. Am I missing something? Okay. We're going to add the kale and the lime, of course, always at the end. So I'm going to cover this, and then we're going to talk a little bit more about this dish in terms of nutrition before we get to our dessert today, or sweet thing. Because I have my obligation. So let's see. I have to keep myself on track. Okay. So we talked about it a little bit before. Let's see what you all recall, and then we'll add on to it. So we had the refresher on lemongrass, right? Okay, let's have the refresher on wild rice. Is wild rice a superfood? Okay. It's a seed. That's great. Yes, it is considered a superfood. It's a seed. It's a grass seed. It is native to North America. All right, okay. If y'all recall that. What else do we recall about it?
You don't cook, you gotta let it soak.
You can cook it, but you can also eat it raw, soaked. So just sit on the counter for 2 days, and the first day I do just water, and the second day, once it starts to kind of bloom, then I use it in stock. And then, and you can even go to a third day if you want it even softer. Or you can cook it. You can cook it in an Instant Pot or on your stove or in your slow cooker. Okay, what else? What else do we know about wild rice?
High in iron and magnesium.
Yes, and high would mean what?
20%.
Yes. Yes. So the main thing about this as a quote unquote pseudo grain is that it is a naturally alkaline grain. So when you eat rice, rice is acidic. And you don't have to eat everything 100% alkaline because our bodies need the acidity, but at least 80% should be alkaline. But this is an alkaline grain, so-called pseudo grain. So it's naturally alkaline, so you want to do that. All right, it's low in calories. It strengthens bones because it has a lot of phosphorus in it, and that's what helps to strengthen your bones, right? It's very high in magnesium, as we just stated. It's very high in fiber. It has very, very low sodium naturally. Sodium is in all the natural foods we eat, so we don't have to add salt to things. That's something we've kind of, that helps us, that encourages us to overeat when we salt things. It's very high in vitamins A, C, and E. You can't say that about rice. Especially with the vitamin E. It's a very potent antioxidant. It's very good for your skin. It's good for a lot of things, a preservative, natural preservative. But that's in wild rice. And what else I want to say? And because it's high in these things, it helps promote white blood cell production. This is how you do it, and this is therefore it bolsters your immune system. So that's very, very important. And so 1 cup of wild rice has 24 grams of protein. That's a lot. Okay, so you don't need that steak on your plate. It is 20% in iron. it has 30% of B6. And what did we say B6 is? What's the name of B6? Okay, it is in the water-soluble vitamin family, yes. The name of B6 is what? Pyridoxine. Yes. They just did that earlier today. Pyridoxine. And what did that do? What's the main function? You think of B6, what is it good for? Your nerves, and the B complex is all for energy, but it's for your nerves and your function. Yes. But its biggest claim to fame, in my opinion, is that it is 70% in magnesium. Now, we have talked about many times in this class about how the soils in and not even just this country, but across the world, are just woefully depleted in magnesium because of all the crap they spray on it. It's just the soils are not what they used to be. And so that's the number one mineral deficiency in the world is magnesium. Wow. Yeah, that's outside of iron, because iron is its own thing, but magnesium is the top one. So getting enough magnesium is what you have to have for 3,000 enzyme reactions in your body. It's critical to everything. So like when you look at your blood cell, like if you look at an iron cell and a magnesium cell, the difference is that for chlorophyll, anything that's green is going to have magnesium in it. That's the core of the cell. So the more vegetables you eat, it's going to get more greens. But when you eat something like wild rice, you have 70% of that is magnesium. It's incredible. Okay, so that's really good, especially if you do the raw version. It's even more absorbable than actually cooking it. So that's something to be said. And with that, we have a shameless segue plug over here because we've got magnesium gel, magnesium oil, and then we've got some mango body butter, and we have some coconut butter for natural hair and for beards. So this sprays in. It doesn't have to go to your digestive system. You absorb it. And I made it so that it doesn't sting or itch, because if you've had the regular kind before, it will burn and itch if you are low in magnesium. If you still burn or itch with this, you are very, very low in magnesium. Keep using it, and after 2 days or so, it will subside. But it's transdermal absorption. So if you're interested after class, let me know. We can get you that. But magnesium is essential for everything you need in your body. And it helps you absorb iron. To absorb more iron, if you're eating something iron rich, you need to have magnesium. So if your magnesium stores are too low and you're taking iron supplements, you're not going to be able to absorb as much iron as you could as if your magnesium levels were adequate. So they go hand in hand. Like we said, everything works in balance with one another. It's not isolated things like they try to sell it to us. Okay, let's see where we are.
Well, let me ask you, where's a good place to find wild rice? Because that's sometimes hard to find some good wild rice.
I have not struggled with that. So wild rice, not the wild rice blends, pure wild rice. Now I will say this, wild rice, pure wild rice is pricey. Okay, so just know that going into it. It's typically in the bulk bins. It's in the bulk bins, or if you go to certain stores that have the actual wild rice, they have it on the bottom shelf. So Whole Foods has it in bulk bins and on the bottom shelf of their rice section. Earth Fare, Fresh Market. Occasionally Harris Teeter, they're not consistent about it. They have blends. They have blends consistent, but the pure wild rice is inconsistent. And everywhere else has been inconsistent. But Earth Fare, Fresh Market, Sprouts has it too. Yep, Sprouts has it too. I hate Sprouts. Trader Joe's, I can't remember. It's been a while since I even thought about buying wild rice. I have to check when I go back. So I don't know. Just speak with confidence on it. Okay. Huh?
How do you cook the wild rice in question? Different than you cook regular rice?
Yeah, you just, except for, the only difference is the water ratio. So for wild rice, I double the water.
Okay, so I figured it would be.
Yep. So I put 3 cups of wild rice in today and 6 cups of, technically the broth. It was 6 cups of water plus the chicken broth. And then I cooked it for 35 minutes. And that's it. But typically on my countertop, it would just be in the thing. You have a question? 24, left? Oh, thanks. Okay. we're gonna keep it moving. We're almost there. I want the butternut squash to get going. So let's talk about our sweet treat for today. Now, now last week was a lazy dessert. I showed you that you saw how simple it is, but it looks kind of upscale. This is one of those desserts that has two folds. If you're just having like, you want something sweet and you're this close to getting in your car and going buy a Reese's cup, and you can stop yourself, okay? You can go to this instead. Or if you're doing just like last week, or you can zhuzh it up and make it really fancy and look like you did something really special and it's really not all that. So before we get into it, it's remarkably easy. I've already pre-made them, but I'm going to make some in front of you and then you all can customize them. So I brought other things that you can stuff inside them if you so choose, okay? But before we get to that, while that's still cooking, let's talk about some date facts, because we've talked about dates several times. What do we recall about dates? Yes. Yes. And the fiber is good for what? Yes. Yes, that's good. It's also an excellent source of potassium. So when we hear that, we know that's good, but what does potassium do in our body? Why is that so important? It regulates muscle contractions, yes. Correct. You already know the answers. It regulates nerve signals, but the main thing it does, it regulates the fluid balance in your bodies. That's why it does say if you're on a low sodium diet, you can't have you'll be on a potassium pill because you're peeing it out too much and all that. So it regulates that. It's in charge of that. So it's really important what it does in the body. Also, fatigue and overall decline in bodily function. If you have low potassium or it's out of whack, if it's out of balance, it does that. It's high in fiber, which we said, 7 grams of fiber for a serving. So a serving of medjool dates is 2 dates, okay? And because they're the fat ones, okay? And that is, the one serving is 77 calories for 2 dates. 2 of the regular size medjool dates. Now, if they get the extra big ones, of course, it's going to be like 110 calories for those 2, but typically it's 77 calories. It has 14% of your daily value of magnesium, so that's another good thing, right? And what else does magnesium do? I just kind of told you all. It regulates what in the body? That's like some major things. Magnesium is for blood pressure and blood sugar, yes, okay, and for nerve and muscle function, because if you cramp up, you need some magnesium, okay. What else? What's the other thing it does that you may not know this? When we say protein synthesis, does anybody know what that actually means? Protein synthesis? That smells awesome. Anytime you hear about synthesis in the body, it means created. So when we have things that are not essential, it means our body creates it. It's synthesized. That's what that means. So when you hear synthesized, it means our body is producing that, usually in the liver. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'm happy about that. Where's my knife? Make sure this is done because we're about to eat, y'all. Okay. Okay. So we're going to let that cook a little bit longer. I personally prefer my squash a little al dente, have a little chew to it. I'm going to cook it just a little bit longer for y'all. We right there. We're right there. Okay, because y'all starting to dip on me again. Okay. You need a dessert? We're going to do the dessert last, but those are already done. Those are already done. All right, so copper, it has copper. So does anybody know why we need copper and magnesium together in the body? Do you understand how that works? Well, copper and magnesium work together to create red blood cells. So you have to have the proper balance in your body. So you can't have way too much magnesium and not enough copper. You're still going to be out of balance, okay? Because the body's all about balance, okay? And so the medjool dates have copper in it. It has actually quite a bit of copper. It also contains B6. What is B6? Pyridoxine. Yes, and what does pyridoxine do for our bodies? Y'all getting it. Brain and nerves. Yes. Yes. That's great. And so when you have low B6, you can have, of course, low energy. It's always like the main symptom, right? You can have skin rashes, and then you can have low serotonin and dopamine levels. Anybody know what serotonin or dopamine does for the body? Serotonin is, it's called the happy hormone, right? Because it plays its role in your sleep, your mood, digestion, how your wounds heal, how your bones heal. I mean, it's pretty critical. And so when you're low on that, you start thinking that the circumstances in your life are causing you to feel this way, and it really just could be a hormone imbalance because you're just nutritionally deficient, right? That's typically a lot of what happens a lot of time. And also your sexual desire, blood clotting, you got to have proper serotonin level. So if you have low serotonin, you have no desire for intercourse. If you're in a committed relationship or whatever you're doing, it could be that. Okay, just be aware of that. And dopamine, what is dopamine? What does that do for the body? Dopamine is a neurotransmitter. Okay, it plays roles in memory and movement. Okay, it's really in attention. So if you have low dopamine, it's associated with like Parkinson's, ADHD, restless leg syndrome. So those are just things to look at where you could just making sure you're eating a well-balanced diet to have that natural energy that you need versus taking a bunch of pharmaceutical poison. Okay, there's a place for it. Always. Exercise is going to always help bolster those natural serotonin and dopamine levels and all your hormones. Absolutely right.
That's why y'all need to come to that class before this month. Look at your schedule. Pick one on the calendar. I'm going to see you there. I'll be looking for you.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and add our greens to this. I'm going to go ahead and serve it with a little bit of bite to it. And when you cook this at home for yourself, if you want mushy squash, that's your business. You can do that. Okay? I just don't want that. So I would use kale, and I think the recipe I put kale, but when I went grocery shopping, this 1 pound organic spinach was on sale, and I said, I got to get it. But that doesn't happen so often. And this is going to wilt to nothing anyway, so.
Can you use either spinach or kale on the first soup you cook? You use kale, but you could use spinach as well.
Use whatever green's going to get down your belly. That's what I always say. Whatever you can do. Yes, green spinach is totally fine. Okay, so y'all about ready to eat? We're going to serve the wild rice. I'm about to say white rice. Okay. We're going to go ahead and serve the wild rice because we're going to put this on top. Oh, okay. Okay, I'm sorry. So at the end, of course, we put our greens in at the end so that it still retains some kind of nutrients and that it's still green. But then we're going to squeeze lime over it. And the reason why we don't cook with it, because if you cook with citrus, one, of course, the vitamin C is gone. But it can turn a bitter taste when you cook it. You always want to put it at the end. It brightens it up, and it usually reduces or eliminates the need to have to add salt. If you add a citrus to it, you don't have to do that. Okay. See how y'all start to wake up when y'all know you're about to eat? I'm hearing laughter. Lord have mercy. Was I that dry? Gosh. That's okay.
We got the teacher back here about to put some people in time out.
Uh-oh.
She had already told them, don't make me come up there.
Okay. All right. Y'all cutting up back there? God, that smells amazing. Can you get me a spoon, baby, or a fork or something? Yeah, I got a fork or a spoon. Just make sure it's perfect. We'll serve it. Oh, one of the cheap ones. That one. Oh, that's fine. That's really good. Okay. No, I'm gonna take that home. I'm gonna just add a pinch of salt. Just a pinch, and I think that'll be good. All right. All right. Turn this off. That's it. Okay. Well, actually, I'm just going to put the rest of this in there. Just might as well not waste it. All right. Give that a stir. This is a very easy weeknight meal, y'all. You see, there wasn't much to it.
Yeah, we will agree with you.
Okay. Okay. I'll get y'all's feedback, and I'm going to get the dessert going. Okay. So I encourage you all when you come next week, if you're able to come next week, to bring your own serving dishes so you can enjoy it better, and we can kind of save on this plastic waste. But it's not required. I'll have some stuff, you know, but it is appreciated. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. 18. Okay. Okay. He said, "You're right." So we took a little adventure through Italy. Now we're in Thailand, and we're ending in Morocco, Northern Africa, because they're native. The date palm is native there, native to that region. It's still temperature hot, y'all. Yeah. Better is a strong word. It's
Still better to do it yourself than that.
right, but it depends on the ingredients. I can't say a blanket statement because some of these have put so much crap in them so recently. I can't say it's better than the dry spices. It just depends on which one specifically. Yep. Okay, so feedback. Okay. I was like, I'm not really hearing anything. I'm like, is this okay? I'm like, okay.
Hey, we do like we said the other day when we had the yam on one side, we can't be talking right now.
Okay. What about how's the wild rice? Okay. Okay. Just think about all that nutrition you're getting, and that it can actually taste good, right? But it's so full of nutrition. That's the main thing. And then the fact that you can make this very quickly on a weeknight, you know, it's very easy. And then this freezes very well, and it stores in the refrigerator very well. So if you want to freeze this, like have it for tonight, and then have food ready for next week because you know you're gonna be busy, it freezes very well. So that's something to consider as well.
Can you freeze the wild rice as well?
Yeah, I'm talking about both.
Oh.
Yep.
What's the best way to thaw it out? Just
Which one?
if you, I guess both.
Oh, thank you, baby. Oh, do you have one? Oh, so I can reuse this bowl. The best way. So for the curry, what I do, there's several. You could just leave it sitting on your counter. What I do, I freeze it in portions for us, and then I reheat it in a pot.
Okay.
And then the wild rice, because it's frozen, and I like to make brown rice, quinoa, and wild rice in bulk and freeze it, and then just toss it in, and it cooks up the same. So that's the easiest way for me. Okay, so while y'all are kind of finishing that, I know we're kind of winding down class. We have dates are just, so we understand the nutrition with dates, right? And because this is a sweet, it's a healthy sweet. This is not a sweet that's going to spike your blood sugar. Why? Because it has so much fiber. It's going to still release slowly, right? So that doesn't mean eat 15 of these. Okay, huh? You can't, 2. Okay, if you want to push it, 3. Okay, But do not sit there and eat these, don't eat them like bonbons, okay? Because it's still very calorically dense for what it is. Even those nutritious. Just like nuts are nutritious, but if you eat a whole bunch of nuts, like I'm guilty of sometimes, it's very calorically dense, okay? So no. Chill, sparingly. And if you eat how we're going to try it today, you shouldn't eat and savor it. Don't just gulp it down. Savor your food. Okay, remember how we're eating with our hands. All right, eat with your hands. Slow yourself down. All right, so there's been now people are just now getting on the date train. I've been seeing viral videos on TikTok and Instagram where they're making date Snickers and date Almond Joys and date Twix and stuff like that, right? And they're just figuring this out. Like, we've been doing this for a long time, y'all. Y'all just figuring it out. So you can do that and customize the flavor profile, not with the junk like in this actual bar, but you can customize it. So what I've done here, I have 2 different flavors, and I want to pull out some things that we can talk about really quickly before I pass these out of how you can modify. And again, the options are endless. These are just some ones that I've thought of. Okay. All right. So if you are concerned about your fat intake, you can use PB2 to make peanut butter, and it has a lot of the fat has been taken out of it, right? And so all you have to do, if you want to make it chocolate, you can add a little bit of cocoa powder and maple syrup, and now you've got a chocolate peanut butter sauce, and as thick or as thin as you want, and you can use it to stuff your date, and it has less fat, but you still get the protein and all that. So that's an option if you're interested. If you have a nut allergy, or you just want another option, instead of putting like an almond or a peanut, if you're trying to replicate like an Almond Joy or what's that other thing, Snickers, you can use pepitas or sunflower seeds and put them in there as well, and still have a little crunch in there. If you want to level it up like we did with the berries that time, you can put a little bit of balsamic glaze on it, and that contrast is a really good, it enhances the sweet, but it's in an elevated, sophisticated kind of way. And if you have guests over, putting a little thin drizzle on top looks fancy and tastes good. Now for today, I have some natural peanut butter, organic peanut butter. So half of them are with peanut butter, and then the other half, just so you all can try something different, is with sunflower seed butter. Until I was able to heal my leaky gut, I could not eat any kind of nut, right? So if I had a butter that, if I didn't make it myself, it was sunflower seed butter or sun butter. Now they have a chocolate version. So you can dip these whole things in chocolate if you wanted to actually make that experience like a Snicker bar or whatever they're talking about now, whatever. So half of them are in the sunflower seed chocolate butter, half of them are with the peanut butter. And then you can add in some non-dairy chocolate chips if you want, and you could use like a cashew butter, and it kind of has like a cookie dough taste to it. You could use the chocolate butter or a dairy-free Nutella, and then add in some hazelnuts. Okay, you can do that. You could add in some shredded coconut, So it's a lot of options you have. So I'm going to pass out the stuffed ones. And then if you say, hey, Annie, I want to put in a cashew, because what I have to, I have some cashews, some hazelnuts, some chocolate chips. Oh, cacao nibs. These are super high in magnesium. They're raw, and they add a little crunch to it. So if you want to add cacao nibs, pepitas, hazelnuts, chocolate chips, or cashews to your date, you can. Okay, so I think we have some extras. I'm gonna take. All right, that should be enough for everybody. What is it? 4, 8, 12, 16. All right. Okay. If you have a preference, he's just passing them out randomly. Like I said, one half is peanut butter, other half is the sun butter. And if you want to have any fixings in it, let me know. Or you can have it as is. Okay. Anybody want hazelnuts? We have cashews and pepitas and cacao nibs and chocolate chips as well.
What about almond butter?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yep. 1 sec.
Does the soap rice taste as good as this? The texture of this?
What does?
When you soak it, will it be? I don't think the texture's not good. This texture is wonderful, the wild rice.
The longer you soak it, the more
Okay.
loose it gets, but you have to keep changing the water out so it doesn't get stagnant.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just if you want it raw or if you want it cooked, it's either way.
I'm gonna try both ways.
Yeah, try it both ways. I like the toothsomeness of it when it's raw, especially, and it's really good in a salad when you have it the raw version versus the cooked version. It adds that texture to a salad and it really bulks it up really well. So try both ways and see what you like.
I'm definitely gonna do that.
Mhm.
The time I had wild rice, I couldn't take it. So
You don't like wild rice?
I had it before, but I couldn't take it.
Oh.
I spent all the money for it.
Anybody else want any fixings, cacao nibs or chocolate chips? Huh? Cacao nibs. Huh? Okay, so thoughts. And then you can also put a drizzle of balsamic on it as well. So, I mean, whatever you have at your house that you want to add to it, you know? But it's a really quick, so if it happens to be a late night and you have a sweet attack, you could do this instead of Ben and Jerry's. Okay. Huh? I had nightmares when you tell me that. I don't even want to think about it. Okay. Feedback, up or down or sideways.
I want to take it.
Have y'all ever, I know a couple of you all have y'all ever had stuffed dates before? Is it something that you would do?
Yeah.
It's very simple. If you want to, I can do one in front of you all so you all can see. It's actually quite simple.
Where did you get those big dates from? From Costco?
I don't have a Costco. I got these from Publix. Organic. Don't get the pitted ones because the pitted ones, well, let me not say that. Get them organic. If they're pitted, then so be it. But the pitted ones dry out faster. Okay, so pit the date yourself. So, you know, they're squidgy like caramel already. Can you give me a knife? Yeah, a knife. Yeah. I'm gonna do this one with cashew butter. So all I do, just real quick, thank you so much. I just split it open. I take out the pit. I do a little scoop. That's not where I was. I'm at the bottom of this right here. This flimsy knife. All right, take a scoop of butter. It's really that simple. You could stop there, and then I could add like 2 or 3 chocolate chips. These are the mini ones. Just a couple, yep. That's it. And I could put a little drizzle of balsamic on there if I want. I could add a pet pizza if I want. And now you've got a healthy fat, as long as you're not getting that Jiffy or Peter Pan or whatever stuff they have. A natural nut or seed butter, right? So now you have a healthy fat that's full of protein. You've got the complex carb that's full of fiber. So you've got all your macros in one little bite. That's why you don't need 15 of these. 2 is fine, okay?
It satisfied my sweetness. It did. That was enough.
And it's delicious. This cashew butter is popping. Okay. Any other questions or comments? Oh, come on. Any other questions or comments, guys? Right here. Oops, sorry. Okay, so if y'all are good, then thank you very much. I'll see y'all next week. Thank you. Thank y'all so much.